Hello, and welcome to CNN Nightly. Today is February 18th, 2010, and I'm sad to say that the last veteran of World War I has just been pronounced dead. John Babcock died in Spokane, Washington, USA, at the age of 109. John grew up in Frontenac County, Kingston, Ontario, with 13 siblings. His father died when he was 6 years old in a tree-cutting accident. Now we're going to go live to Noah to tell us more about John's career in World War I.
The minimum age of the war was 18, but John lied and joined at 15. He was recruited to Sydenham, Ontario, and joined the 146th Battalion of the Canadian Expeditionary Force, then was sent to Babcock, Quebec, where he was discovered to be underage. In August 1971, he was placed in a reserve battalion known as the Boys, or Young Soldiers. This is where they would train the soldiers for 8 hours a day to prepare them for war. Before Babcock was able to see front lines, the war had ended. John Babcock says he never felt like a real soldier. Now if we can have a moment of silence for John Babcock. Thank you. John contributed for our society after the war by not only writing an autobiography called 10 Decades of John Foster Babcock. John served in the United States Army and achieved the rank of sergeant. He worked as an electrician and salesman after this time in the war. Back to you.
Thanks, Noah. Even though John was a U.S. soldier, he still played a major part in our Canadian history. John had to give up his Canadian citizenship to become a U.S. soldier because dual citizenship was not allowed at this time. But John says he still loved Canada. When Mr. Babcock was 108, he came back to Canada for a visit. And Greg Thompson, the Minister of Canadian Veterans and Affairs, paid him a visit. Greg managed to convince him to contact Prime Minister Stephen Harper to get his citizenship back. Mr. Thompson presented a note at the cabinet meeting, and it was no surprise the motion was passed. John Babcock symbolizes a generation that very well created the modern Canadian nationhood. That's all this evening. Thank you for joining us.